Okay, on section 3.3, day 2, there's not anything new that I haven't already gone through with you. So the first thing that I'm going to go through, just so that you guys are aware of it, on 41 to 49, it says, determine whether to use factoring, square roots, or completing the square. Explain your reasoning, then solve the equation. Basically what I really care about is if you actually solve it correctly. Which way do you want to solve an equation? Right now you have factoring, you have square rooting, and you have completing the square. Does it matter which way you do them?
No.
No. They're all the same answer. So for 41 to 49, you choose the method that you like to do, and then that's the way you do them. It's your choice. Okay? I'm giving you the option. You have the option of solving it whichever way you want to. Okay? So if you look on 41, it says x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. You can factor that one. You can't square it the way it is. Or you could complete the square. You make the choice. I'm not going to make it for you. You make the choice on your own. You're big people now. You can do that. Okay? But the second half of your assignment is going to ask you to do this. It's going to give you an equation, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and ask you to write it in vertex form. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take an equation like the first one, and we're going to rewrite it so that it looks like an equation in the second one. So we're not going to graph this either. All we're going to do is just rewrite the form. Okay? So there's no graphing. All we're going to do is rewrite the form. And how do you do that? You use completing the square. So what we did yesterday. Okay? So here's what it's going to say. Write the quadratic function in vertex form, then identify the vertex. So we're going to take one that was like the top equation and convert it into the bottom equation. We're going to use completing the square to do that. Not the full completing the square, because we're not going to take it all the way down to what was x. We're going to do bits and pieces of it. Okay? All right. So here's what it's going to give you as a problem. It's going to say f of x equals x squared minus 8x plus 19. So it has this equation in standard form, and it wants you to put it into vertex form. So here's how you go about doing that. The first thing that I'm going to do is A1? Yeah. Second step in the completing the square process was move the constant to the other side. But the constant's 19. I'm not going to move it to the other side for this. I'm just going to push it over. Like saying, I don't want you right next to me. Push you away. Okay? So, if I don't want Vanessa next to me, I'm going to push her away. Okay? And this actually going to just walk away. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just push the 19 over to the side. It's still on the same side to the right. I'm just pushing it over. Now, what number is in the B position? Negative 8. Divided by 2? Negative 4 squared. So now, this is the most important step for this part. I'm going to add 16. And immediately following that, I'm going to subtract 16. Why am I going to subtract 16? Because remember, these are equations. Equations are like balanced scales. If I add something in there, does it balance anymore? No. So now if I add 16, the option is you could add 16 to the other side, or you can take away 16 immediately. Then they go back to being balanced. This number right here, you could actually put it as a 16 on this side, but then you're going to subtract it over in the end. So it's your choice how you want to treat that. But realistically, you're going to subtract it over anyway. You might as well do it right away. So now, these three pieces, and just these three pieces only, factor that. What times what gives me x squared? What times what gives me 16 but adds it to be negative 8?
Negative 4, negative 4.
These two numbers. What's negative 16 plus 19?
3.
Is this in vertex form? Let me rewrite what vertex form is in black marker. A x minus h, the quantity squared, plus k. Is that in vertex form?
Yes. So
Yeah, it is.
We wouldn't have an A then in this
No,
one?
for this one there's no a because we didn't take anything out to begin with. I'll give you one here in a second one that's like that. So what's the h? 4. What's the k? 3. I think that was. Okay. So my answer for this one, here's the formula in vertex form, and there's the vertex. Done. That's all you need to do for those. That doesn't start until you get down to 55, I believe. Yeah, 55 is where that starts. Okay, that actually happened to be 55. Do you want me to do another one?
Yes.
Okay. F of x equals,
Do you want to leave?
sure, x squared plus 6x minus 16. Bless you, Haley. First things first, is a 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second thing, instead of moving the constant this time, I'm going to move it by pushing it over. Because I'm sick of sitting next to you, so therefore I'm just going to push you over.
I'll move. I'll move.
Just teasing, guys.
As far as
I know I'm standing, right? Okay, so what number is in the B position?
6.
6 divided by 2? 3 squared?
9.
I'm going to add 9 and then immediately subtract 9. So again, how I got 9 was I took 6 divided by 2 and then I squared it, which was 3 squared or 9. So now the first 3 spaces I'm going to factor. What times what gives me x squared?
X.
What times what gives me 9 but adds up to be 6? And then on the outside piece, what's negative 9 minus 16? You just wrote it in standard in vertex form. What is the vertex?
Negative.
Negative 3, negative 25.
Oh.
The number that is with the x, when you pull it out of there, you actually switch the sign. Okay? Do you want to do another one like this? Hold on to what? Don't back up, Tristan. I'm holding on. Can I let go?
Yeah.
All right. What if there's a number in front? What if there's a number in the A position? Can that happen?
Yes.
Sure. All right, so let's do it the same way. I'm going to, first of all, push the constant out of the way. Because you know what? It's walking too slow in the hallway, and push it out of the way.
Yeah. No.
Okay? Now, one thing that's different, besides what we did when we moved everything, is this part right now. I've got negative 16t squared plus 32t. I don't want it to be a negative 16 in the A slot. The A slot has to be a 1. So what number can I take out of negative 16 and 32?
16.
I can take out a negative 16. That gives me t squared minus 2t. I'm not going to divide it to the 6. Okay, unlike the ones that we did yesterday, where yesterday we were doing everything divided by negative 16, I'm not going to touch the 6 with this negative 16 at all. So now, what number is in the B position currently? Negative 2. What's negative 2 divided by 2?
Negative 1.
What's negative 1 squared?
1.
So I add 1 here. Here's what I don't do. I don't subtract 1 right away either. To make it balance like we were doing on the first two, I just put whatever number that was, but it's not really 1 that I put in the problem. Does anybody know what number I actually put into the problem? It wasn't a 1. Anybody want to take a guess? Nick, what do you think? What number did I actually put there? It looks like a 1 right here, but what number was it really?
Negative 1.
Nope, not negative 1. You're not Nick either.
6.
Close. Not 6.
32.
Vanessa, oh, you're even closer with that. Vanessa, what did you just say? Very, very close.
Negative 16.
Negative 16. We actually put negative 16 in there, not a 1. Here's how. If you were to distribute the negative 16 back in the problem, that would have been a negative 16 in that position. What's the opposite of negative 16? So now, really what I'm going to do to counterbalance it is I have to add 16 to it, not 1 and negative 1. So if you took a number out, which by the way, this is the only one you have to do that for today. All the rest of them have A as 1. This is the only problem that you actually have to do like this in your assignment. So negative 16 stays out front. What does it factor into? What times what gives me t squared? T. What times what gives me 1 but adds up to be negative 2?
Negative 1.
What's 16 plus 6? 22. Now, here's what you didn't know. This problem actually stated this. While marching, a drum major tosses a baton into the air and catches it. The height h in feet of the baton t seconds after it is thrown can be modeled by the function h equals negative 16t squared plus 36t plus 6. Find the maximum height of the baton. When you throw a baton, or a ball for that matter, if I threw a ball to somebody and they caught it, what kind of shape would it make?
A parabola.
An arc, a parabola, right. Where when I bounce it like this, what's the height? The height was about here, wasn't it? In that grand shape of the height, with it being a height, what is this in the vertex?
High point.
The high point. Well, in the vertex, what is it? How high did the drum major throw it? The number's on the screen. 22. He threw it 22 feet high. How did you know that? What's the vertex? It's 1 and 22. If you were to put that on a graph, that would be the high point would be 22. So for letter A, it says what's the maximum height reached? It was 22 feet. Then for part B, it's going to say how many seconds passed when he catches it at 4 feet. So what happened was, when Baton guy threw it up here, it was 6 feet in the air. That's why the plus 6 was there. It made this arc motion like that, and he caught it like down here at 4 feet.
Yeah.
It wanted you to tell me how many seconds that took for that to happen. So what you do for part B is you put 4 on this side, and now you work backwards to solve for t. Subtract 22, divide by negative 16, square root both sides, add 1, done. Okay?
I'm open.
No. I might hit Brianne.
So to find seconds, you solve.
You put 4 in for h and then solve for t, because it'll say the height is 4. So, starting on page 117, going to 118, we're 41 to 49, odds. 55 to 63, odds. And number 68.
We just did some. We did some of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right, we did.